Good to go? Good evening. I'd like to call to order this regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council for the City of Calistoga. It is Tuesday, October 2nd at exactly 6 p.m. City Clerk Flamson, has this meeting been properly noticed?
Yes, it has.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Lopez Ortega.
Here.
Councilmember Barnes.
Here.
Councilmember Kraus.
Here.
Vice Mayor Dunsford.
Here.
Mayor Canning.
Here. If you'll please all stand and join me for a salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start this evening with oral communication on consent items or non-agendized items. This time is set aside to receive comments from the public regarding matters on the consent calendar or matters of municipal concern that are not on the agenda. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54954.3, also known as the Brown Act. However, the Council cannot consider any issues or take action on any request during this comment period. Speakers are encouraged to limit their comments to 3 minutes maximum so that all speakers have an opportunity to address the City Council. I have one speaker card, and then after that, if there's anyone who wants to address the Council that did not fill out a speaker card, you are welcome to do so. Ms. Renard, right away. Please share with us, should you so choose, share with us your name and your address, and please limit your comments to a maximum of 3 minutes.
Just to share a little bit about me, I would be more comfortable on my roof cleaning out my gutters in the rain than I am.
Thank you.
This is about water. A couple of months ago, all of a sudden I took a shower and it sounded like dirt. Shower anyway, I went into my kitchen, got water on, stuff like dirt. I have contacted and the park have contacted. They're on the Edgewater Park. I have tried getting test kits that as you will see with that filtered it, it's filtered. I don't understand why, and I don't care. I just don't care why. It's not just in my part, but there are sides I don't. I just look at the next site. Oh, straight out. And that filter so I've had a lot of information about places but I haven't done that yet. Park says that why the water comes that bad because the city did training and tell them our pipe also, our business pipe also, that but Jeremy, if you're not doing it right in the park, then and Jeremy said, well, that's not what I did, but I'll talk. But Jeremy goes, that's I think that's about all I have to say. That's that we're paying twice as much for water. But
Thank you.
Okay.
So, City Manager Feek, and then we have Public Works Director Kern. First of all, I empathize with the situation. This is not the first time in my 8 years on this council that we've encountered a very similar issue with that particular park. The city's responsibility is to deliver clean water as best we can. When we talk about the mobile home park, Rancho as an example, we deliver up to the water meter for the park, and then at that point, their water system takes our water and delivers it to you. We've expressed concerns to that management in the past, not the current managers, but previous as well as ownership, that their level of maintenance could probably and should probably be improved. So we could deliver you bottled water, quality water at our side of the meter. When it goes through into a system that's not being maintained to a level that we would recommend, there's not much we can do beyond that other than strongly encourage, and then perhaps we could find a mechanism by which to influence the ownership and the management of that park to do what we would consider to be proper maintenance on that side. On that side of town, and our Public Works Director, Mike Kern, could correct me if I'm wrong, but we know that this is an issue right now, even taking Rancho out of the picture, because we're replacing Phage water tank, which is the other balancing water tank in town that helps pressurize the system, keep everything circulating. So what we more than likely have specific to Rancho is a compounding situation. The good news is that the Phage tank situation, good news for the surrounding communities, that the Phage tank situation is temporary while it's under construction. The better news is hopefully that your park management and ownership can be strongly encouraged to do the maintenance and reach a maintenance level that we would consider to be satisfactory. We are happy to, and I'm happy to call management and ownership myself, or the city manager, or the head of Public Works, to encourage that along. But again, this is unfortunately not our first time at the rodeo with your particular park. So I don't think it's anything intentional. I just think it's in a long list of things they probably have to attend to. It might not be their priority. And with that said, we have a brief period of challenge because of the Phage water tank replacement, which was necessary, but that's not accounting for all of the situation there. Okay, so we will take that to City Manager Feek. If you can get the contact information for that park, both ownership and management, which we have, and perhaps we can help provide them with some expertise to encourage how that needs to be done. Because if it's not flushed properly, then you end up with that stagnation, and while we're replacing a pretty significant sized water tank, that becomes a challenge. Okay? And just for the record, you're not paying twice as much for your water. I'll allow you the poetic license to make your point.
I might just make a comment also, because I am a little bit familiar with the water system over there. It is a rather unique water system here within the city, even though we have several other mobile home parks that have the same metering issue that you have. However, that mobile home park has a bypass. Rancho has a bypass, and it's right there by where the mailboxes are, and it's that big pipe that comes up out of the ground and everything. And the water mains that are in there are undersized, and the reason for that big contraption up there is so that if there's a fire, that the fire department can come on over and open that up to increase the water pressure in the park. So I'm not saying that's part of the problem, but I'm wondering if, because that is a rather unique situation there, if that has something to do with it. The other thing is that by state law, all of the fire hydrants that are in your park have to be tested annually. And as part of that testing, usually they're flowed at least once a year. And that can do a couple of things. It causes some turbulence because the water, normally travels through at a certain velocity, and all of a sudden you open up a fire hydrant and it increases quite a bit. So the mobile home parks are supposed to submit to the fire department the results of their testing, and I'm wondering if they've done that. So if you would check with the fire department to see if the flow tests have been conducted in there on an annual basis as is required by state law, that might answer some questions as to why they're having a problem with the water. Perhaps it has nothing to do with it, but perhaps there's something to do with it there. And whatever else we can do here in the city to help you resolve that over there.
Gary, a question for your expertise. Is the mobile home park responsible for requesting that test, or is that automatically scheduled by the fire department?
It is not scheduled by the fire department.
Is that a flaw in the system then? Because if it's not scheduled, it could fall through the cracks.
Well, that's
I mean, is it
a
automatic?
possibility.
On the 10th of October every year, we go to Rancho and do it.
The fire department doesn't do the testing.
Well, whoever
It
does
has
the
to be a
testing.
third party, because the city
whoever
does not
does it.
want to be responsible if a water surge happens in there as a result of the testing and somebody's hot water heater blows up, or a pipe comes up out of the ground or something. The city doesn't want to be responsible for that. But there are testing agencies, or testing companies, I should say, that the mobile home park can contract with to accomplish that, and then they submit the paperwork to the city.
Correct.
Yes. You shouldn't have to do that. They should be familiar with the law, and this all came out of a bad fire that happened down in Long Beach, California. The fire department went in and the hydrants didn't work. And so a law was passed. This is probably 10 years ago or so.
Could we help that situation along?
Steve sure could.
I mean, we as a council, we as a city
I think we've gotten direction to the staff
Yeah.
to go ahead and check with the fire chief if they are not doing that reporting, and we're not suggesting they aren't, but if they aren't, then obviously some action will be taken.
And like I say, it may or may not be part of the problem out there, but we sure should know whether or not the water system is sufficient to handle a fire as well.
Quality of the drinking water as opposed
And
to
may
fire
go-
protection plate.
Yeah.
Okay. Director Kern, have we gone too far afoul on this in terms of our recommendations? Okay, thank you. So we'll be in contact with the parks management and ownership, and they've been cooperative on other matters, so I don't see a reason they wouldn't be on this, and if not, then we have other means by which we can encourage that
And they may already be doing it on
There
a
you go.
regularly scheduled basis.
And they might.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying as far as the water quality in the flood. All right, I don't have any other speaker cards. Is there anyone else interested in addressing the council on any matters relative to the consent calendar or not on the agenda? All right, I will close the oral communication, and I will entertain a motion to adopt this evening's agenda as presented unless a modification is requested.
So moved.
Second. I have a motion by Councilmember Kraus. I have a second by Vice Mayor Dunsford. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on to council requests for ideas and for discussion, sorry. Councilmember Lopez Ortega.
I have nothing tonight.
Councilmember Barnes.
Just my bi-weekly reminder that election's coming up. Please register if you're not registered. Vote. And also, we're having 3 debates this month. One is Thursday night, sponsored by the press in the back of the room, right here at 6:30. And 2 more, one on the 11th, I believe, and one on the 17th. Please come and attend and see what all the candidates have to say. Thank you.
Councilmember Kraus.
don't have anything to add what Jim said.
Vice Mayor Dunsford.
Nothing.
All right, I have a couple of items I'd like to address. First, we have next Tuesday, did I get that right? Tuesday on the 9th. Am I getting this right? This is the Bill Dodd. Okay. So we have a town hall by our state senator, Bill Dodd, which will be at 5:30 in this facility. And as part of that, we're doing a one-year remembrance of the Tubbs fire in Calistoga. It looks like, weather permitting, we will be doing a brief ceremony at Fireman's Park, which is just half a block down to the left here, at the beginning of that meeting, and then we'll have the town hall so you can address your state senator on any issues of concern that you have regarding his realm of jurisdiction with the state of California. So those are actually two items wrapped into one. And then the other item, which I want to reiterate, which is brought up by Councilmember Barnes, the first of three candidate forums is coming up live and in person. If I could make a request for some of the more active members in our community, step out from behind your keyboard, come meet your neighbors, come meet your candidates, have a conversation with people, and you could always go back to your keyboard and get on top of nextdoor.com or whatever else you choose to utilize to continue to misinform yourself. So with that said, the first candidate is at 6:30 on Thursday night. Thank you very much. Moving on to proclamation, presentations, and awards. Tonight we have a presentation by our Recreation Department. Taking us through this evening will be Rachel. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks. So the point of my presentation tonight is just to kind of highlight what we're kind of getting into as far as our free programming goes. So, you know, we've discussed free programming. You guys mentioned that you want to have some kind of that trade to it. Give you a recap of what's been going on so far and kind of where we're taking this thing. So we've had an initial launch of some free programmings just to kind of see how that's going to go, how that looks, and so far it's going really well, which is no surprise to anyone, I'm sure. Did a couple of camps, we did a couple of tennis programs, and now one of our main programs that's coming up is basketball, and so far we have 78 registered. And then we're doing some partnerships with Calistoga Fit to offer some senior and adult wellness classes, and those have been really popular. And I think that those will continue to grow and increase as our pool closes. The pool closed last weekend, just kind of getting into gathering all the data for that to kind of see how many people we had come to programs, when they came, and what that would look like to offer all of those programs. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And then as we move forward, just want to get an idea of what people are kind of looking for. This is kind of what I've been thinking of, is which programs we should be offering for free, and I think it looks like it's mainly going to be geared towards youth, senior, and adult wellness programs. So that can be, you know, an array of things, which is tennis, basketball, soccer, volleyball, swim lessons, and then some enrichment programs, which are always, or most likely going to be partnerships with Boys and Girls Club, and then other organizations within the community, as well as adult fitness classes that serve the needs of the community, senior fitness classes that serve the needs of the community, and then resident pool admission, which is still kind of a question mark in my mind. I think some programs will remain for charge, and those are going to be specialty classes, specialty outings. So like we take with adults to the giant out, a for paid event, adult sports leagues, facility rentals for private and commercial organizations. So then as we kind of go into this, just want to get some feedback as far as what the council would like to see and then what the needs of the community are. We're in the process of preparing a survey to go out to the entire community to kind of see what are you guys interested in the department offering, what times works for everyone, how is the best way that you can get this information to you so that you know what's going on in the department and you can sign up for those programs. And then one thing I'm really kind of I'm finding very important is to maintain the integrity and the quality of our programs. So, and what I mean by that is just really ensuring that our registrants become participants, so we don't have this huge drop-off from the time people register to the time that they should be showing up for a program. So we're trying out some different things to combat that. So any feedback is welcome.
Council members, questions, comments?
Yeah, on your first page, second slide, you say soccer, you had 20 participants, tennis 26, basketball 78. Do you have the figures to compare what those were from last year when we were charging?
So tennis was a new program, so I don't have figures for that. So that's increased 100%. Basketball, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head. I think they were higher than that, but we're not done with registration yet. We just opened it like 2 weeks ago. So
Oh, so you really don't have enough data yet to make those
no,
comparisons?
no,
Okay,
not
thank
yet.
you.
But
What?
so far it's looking really good.
One comment that I might just add, Jim, last year we actually partnered with the Cubs basketball, and they actually funded the program for free. And I don't remember the participation either, but I know it was a very high number. That was probably one of the first programs.
Dylan, that was 2 years ago.
Was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
So when we first started offering recreation programs outside of swimming for free, we had a tremendous success rate there.
Should.
How many soccer teams are there this year?
Have, let's see, I don't know off the top of my head, I'm sorry. We have 2 U8s, 2 U10s, 1 U12. I think there's probably 6 or 7. Soccer was not offered as a free program.
No, I remember because the registration started before we
Right, exactly.
did the program. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see
Right.
if we have a significant increase in the participation in that, because I think that would help with the justification, or be the justification for expanding soccer fields and recreation facilities there on the east end of Washington Street. So,
Well, and I think another justification there is just the lack of field space for all of the organizations in town. Pretty much everybody that plays soccer is using Loadby, so that's the high school, adult league.
going to wear that turf
roughly.
pretty good.
Right. There's just frankly not enough space.
So that is our only facility for
We use some field space at the high school, but Logan.
city-owned.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I see kids out there in the outfield, little kids running
Yeah,
around playing
yeah.
soccer. Great to look at.
Is there, are these soccer teams, do they have local merchants that are sponsors?
Some, yes.
Some? Okay. Thank you.
The trainers or coaches, are they getting paid or mostly are volunteer?
Mostly are volunteer, but for basketball, we are looking at hiring on some coaches. So as we move into our free programming and are offering more programs and having more teams, we are going to look at actually paying the coaches, because that's one of our challenges, is finding coaches for all of the teams that we can field. I would say space and coaches are kind of our challenges, but I think with offering some kind of compensation, that will be less of a challenge.
Will we be utilizing the basketball court at the new Boys and Girls Club?
Absolutely. We're going to be partnering with them a lot on basketball.
Good.
Where are we on a percentage of, as your best guess, our instructors, staff, et cetera, that are bilingual?
My best guess would be probably 75%,
Are bilingual? Excellent.
Great.
because most of our staff at the pool is bilingual.
Very good. You know, that was an initiative that I know you've been working on, but we're strongly encouraging for obvious reasons as well. Just some feedback that I've received. Primarily, I'm interacting with adults who are doing some of the adult programs you've done, and the feedback's been outstanding. The caliber and quality of the instruction and the instructors, they find to be exceptional, and I got really good feedback about the tennis program that you guys are initiating. I mean, it seems a shame to have so many tennis courts and not having
Right.
kind of a feeder system to encourage kids and even adults to get back into that.
Yeah.
So thank you for pushing that along.
Absolutely.
Anyone in the public, any questions for Park and Recreation or anything you'd like to see further? All right, keep that going and give us updates along the way as to how we're doing on registrations, especially now that the vast majority are going to be free.
Yep, thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the consent calendar. We'll entertain a motion on the consent calendar as presented, unless anyone would like an item pulled for further discussion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Barnes. I have a second by Councilmember Kraus. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. We have no public hearings. We have no general government. We will now adjourn to our next regularly scheduled meeting, which is October 16th at 6 p.m. in the same facility. Thank you all and have a nice evening.